Space above the mining moon Galatea shimmered with weapons fire, lighting up the blackness like a storm of dying stars. For a week, the people of Galatea had watched the enemy blockade Tetna, ring of iron and malice, commanded by the insectoid Scath. Humanity's expansion into the outer colonies had finally threatened the wrong empire. And now Galatea was the first world on the chopping block. Connor Hayes never wanted to be a soldier. He was a shuttle mechanic, happiest with grease on his hands and music in his ears. But when the Scath shattered the planetary defense grid and broadcast their ultimatum surrender or be eradicated, Connor was drafted along with every able-bodied colonist. The mines emptied. Schools closed. Children hid underground while their parents took up rifles and prayed. The Scath moved with inhuman precision, communicating wordlessly. The only warning before each assault was the sickly whine of their antimatter cannons. The first attack came at midnight. If they take it, they'll vent the whole moon. We'll lose everyone. Connor crouched in a bombed-out docking bay, his hands shaking as he loaded a battered pulse rifle. Maybe he'll scare them off by us time. The air was thick with sweat, blood, and the metallic temps of fear. Captain Rosa Valdez, commander of the militia, barked orders from behind a half-melted barricade. Connor's team included Raj, a grizzled mining foreman with nerves of steel, and Lila, a teenage coding genius who'd lost her parents in the first bombardment. Together, they hacked into the core controls, rerouted coolant lines, and set up remote detonators. Every second, they listened for the thud of Scath boots in the corridors above. Do it. I'll get you a team. The commander hurled him across the room, smashing him into a control panel. Outside, the enemy ships began to pull back, fearful of being caught in a catastrophic explosion. As Connor struggled to rise, Lila fired her last round, distracting the Scath long enough for Rosa to grab her rifle and fire point blank. Rosa hurled a grenade, vaporizing 3 Scath in a flash of green light. Connor fired blindly, barely registering the recoil. A Scath leaped the barricade. Connor smashed it with the butt of his rifle, his own terror lending him strength he never knew he had. The core stabilized with a whine and a shudder, lights flickering back to normal. He slumped to the floor, exhausted, blood running from a gash in his arm. Their commander, a giant brute with silver armor, paused in confusion. Rosa, battered and bleeding, seized the moment. She led a counterattack miners with rifles and explosives, storming out of the tunnels in a final desperate charge. When home was threatened, they would do the impossible. Rosa's voice crackled over the cum. They're here. Get out now. The blockade ships were gun recoiling from what they thought was humanity's willingness to destroy themselves rather than surrender. Around them, miners and engineers clung to cover, faces set in grim determination. The enemy advanced, horrifying in their black carapace armor. Eyes like burning emeralds, weapons hissing with corrosive vapor. He knew the Scath would come again, maybe with bigger guns and crueler leaders. But so would humanity, each time a little stronger, a little braver. Lila hacked a security door, slamming it shut behind them, buying precious seconds. Connor triggered the sequence on his wrist pad. The core rumbled, alarms screaming as the temperature spiked. He ducked into a maintenance shaft, crawling until he reached the top floor. Through shattered glass, he saw the Scath commander standing over Rosa, a blade poised to strike. Each time the enemy attacked, they lost more ground, but never their will. Connor watched in horror as the first wave breached the outer doors. The air filled with screams and blaster fire. "Fall back," Rosa yelled. The survivors retreated deeper into the moon's tunnels, sealing bulkheads behind them. Hours bled together. In the darkness of the tunnels, Connor found brief moments of compatching up wounded, jury-rigging damaged weapons, helping Rosa reroute power to life support. One night, as Connor was welding a breach in the corridor wall, Rosa slid down beside him, her shoulder bandaged and eyes dark with exhaustion. "After the core," she whispered. Connor's mind raced. "There's a way to overload the core make. It looked like a meltdown." Rosa frowned. "It could kill us too." "Not if we time it right. I can make it work," Connor insisted. Rosa stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. They set to work in the lowest depths of the mine, where the core pulsed with dangerous energy. The enemy finally breached the last bulkhead. As Connor finished splicing the final circuit, the team sprinted through the twisting tunnels, Raj took a plasma round to the leg but pushed on, refusing to slow down. Above ground, the Scath halted, their sensors screaming false warnings. Connor and his team emerged just in time to see the main control tower overrun. Without thinking, Connor burst from the vent, tackled the alien, and fought like a man possessed. The commander fell. The remaining Scath broke ranks, retreating as the core's alarms continued to blare. Connor limped to the main console, shutting down the overload at the last second. Rosa knelt beside him, a tired grin on her face. "You saved us, mechanic." He laughed, half sobbing. "Never thought I'd see them run." The surviving colonists gathered on the landing field, battered but alive. Word spread quickly. Galatea had held. Against all odds, ordinary people, miners, kids, mechanics, had turned back an empire. As the dust settled and the sun rose over the battered moon, Connor looked up at the stars, hope flickering where fear once lived. Because the Scath could never understand the one thing that made humans truly dangerous, and the whole galaxy would remember the day Galatea said no.